Good morning, good afternoon, good after evening, and well, not good night, but good morning to you. Actually, I just said good morning. Anyway, hello, welcome to the Money Cure. I am your host, Sean Grant. Um, Super happy to be here. Super happy to be sharing with you. I feel like some really great insight that can ease your money troubles if that's what you're going through, but also if you're not going through any, allow you to feel even more abundant within the place that you're in right now, with the world being in the condition that it is. So, with that being said, if you look a little bit at the title of today's episode, you can see part of it talks about allowing money to love you. And so I did that on purpose because it's important to understand. I'm going to explain something here to you that really, for me, was a game changer. And the reason why it was a game changer was I never really understood that it was one and the same, but it is one and the same. And so what that is that money, source, God, and love all vibrate at the same numerical energy, basically the same energy. So what that means is that on a scale in numerology, if you test the numerical energy according to Pythagoras' theorem and Pythagoras' chart, that money will resonate at the same energy as love, right? So for me, that kind of really just ripped out a lot of false beliefs and false faith about money being evil and all this other stuff. How can it be evil if it only, not only, but if it is just love in action, love in expression, right? There's no way you can tell me ever that love can be evil. So there's a really good reason why this changes everything. And it's because when you know what something is, you can identify the behavior of it and how it reacts to certain things. And this is where it really kind of comes together. So if money is love and love is being rejected, do you think that love is going to show up in a place where it's rejected? Not a chance. Not even close, right? So it's interesting because, a lot of us are taught these things to separate money from everything else. But the truth of the matter is, if you're living in today's, existence, period, no matter where you are, you need this. You need this. You need money in order for it to be up with the currency and up with what is allowing you to be able to live your life in a way that gives you an opportunity to live it to the very best. And so, hands down, you need money. If you're if you're not in a space to where you're allowing it to come into your life, then there's a pretty good chance that you're struggling. And so that's what we kind of want to move away from on today's episode, but also allowing you to once again feel more abundant when you understand the nature. And so getting back to that, understanding the nature of something allows us to understand the behavior of something. And when we know the behavior of something, we can act accordingly. So I want to draw your attention to what love is, what real love and true love is, because then you'll be able to see that this applies to money. Okay? So there's a great scripture that talks about what love is, and it's out of the Bible, and I don't have it verbatim, but I have an idea of what it says, and I'm going to give that to you. And basically, this is not manipulative love. This is true love. This is, I like to call it divine unconditional love. And it says, love is patient, love is kind, love is gentle, love is faithful, love doesn't seek to do wrong, Love is always looking for the very best in everyone, for everyone. Love always works for the well-being of each and every person. And it has everything good at the forefront when it comes to love. Okay? So just take a minute to think about that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take love out and put money right back in there. And it gives you an entirely different scope of what you may have learned or what you may have been taught about the concept of money. Because I can guarantee you, I mean, unless you were in a family with people who were very enlightened and of a high conscience, I mean, even then, they wouldn't necessarily know that money is kind, money is patient, money is faithful, money is able to give, the very best of, exactly what I said. Not even they would know that, right? But maybe they would. So, but at the same time, for most of us, that's not what we've been taught, right? That's not what we've been taught. So I've been looking a lot into this book called Happy Money by Ken Honda. Just did a master's class, and, it's a really just amazing concept, because they talk about surrounding your money with an energy that feels good, surrounding your money with an energy that feels like love, that feels like appreciation. And he talks about how this helped him to become a millionaire, this helped him to write books, this helped him to do so much stuff. But it's so true in a sense that, because, just look around. A lot of times the people who have hangups about money struggle. And I'm speaking from the choir, because I had a lot of hangups about money due to, false beliefs and religious upbringings and stuff like that. And so what it did is it made me separate money from everything else that I felt like was needed to create a good life. And that's why I struggle. Like, I struggle immensely, right? But then all of a sudden, when I realized that money was just love in action, money is just love in expression, money was just love, period, and I began to treat it that way, things begin to progressively get better. Money began to show up at the time, the perfect time that I would need it. It began to be more accessible. It began to be something that I could be grateful for. And that is the key. If you can do nothing else, if you're not even ready to accept the concept of money being love, just be grateful and appreciative for the money you have. And then another great thing is to be grateful and appreciative for the money you've received and the money you've been able to circulate back into the economy, because that creates an energy of acceptance, an energy of love, an energy of grace, and it opens your channel to allow more money to come into your life, right? So gratitude really is a strong key right here. And Ken Honda talks a lot about this in his book, Happy Money. And it's just basically setting up the right type of energy. And the reason why love is so important, because here's what real love does. Real love helps us to relax. Real love helps us to not be attached, right? Real love helps us to see things as they are, not as some bullshit story that's being made up in our minds about, a belief that we hadn't even adopted, but has been given to us. That's not love. That's torture. But when you understand what love is, all of a sudden money takes on a new light, because you realize money is the exact same thing. And guess what? Then you know how it behaves, right? So in thinking about that, and thinking really, I don't want to say long, but more intently about that concept, all of a sudden, the first thing you want to do is cultivate more love in your life, right? Cultivate more love in your life, because once again, the more love you have, the more relaxed you will be. And the more relaxed you are, remember, abundance, prosperity, wealth comes in through a state of calmness, through a state of ease, through a state of peace. It's not a breakneck, intense, scattered, sporadic type energy. It's a peaceful, calm, easeful energy, Because here's the thing, if you had more than enough money, all the money that you needed, you would do things in an easeful way. You would do things in a peaceful way. You wouldn't be going nuts trying to force this to happen or force that to happen. So in knowing that, it allows us to take a step back. Well, how are we conducting ourselves as it relates to abundance? Are we moving through peace? Are we moving in ease? Or are we frantic? Or are we forcing ourselves? Are we being desperate? Right? This is such a great, comparison, because your issues in love, if there are any, can pretty much show you where you have issues with money, right? Once you take a really good look at it, you can see, okay, I'm successful in love at this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm telling you, it works the exact same way when it comes to money, because they're the same thing. They're the same energy. It's all energy. So it's all the same, but these two resonate at the same vibration, right? Resonate at the same vibration. So in understanding that if I cultivate more love in my life, guess what? I'm cultivating more money. If I'm opening my channels, if I'm allowing more money to come into my life, I'm allowing a chance for more love. And it's just getting into the frame of mind, getting into the perspective that because it creates such a high level, such just a really sustainable level of relaxation that love is, you're going to be wide open. Because what happens? Let's just be honest. Let's take a relationship, for example. When true love, not manipulative love, got to be really, really specific about this. When true love is present, relationships often operate with a sense of ease. They often operate the majority of the time in peace, right? That's the nature. The nature of a functional, successful relationship is ease. Same with the friendship, same with the business partnership. When there's ease, when there's respect, when there's care, when there's mindfulness, when there's taking into account the collective perspectives and reasoning of everybody, it thrives. It thrives. So it's understanding that you have to take that same concept and apply it to money. Okay? All those things, you apply it. And now I'm not saying not to the green paper and the dollars or whatever, or, whatever your currency is. You apply it to the energy of money, which is just love. You're just applying it to love. If it makes you feel better, you're applying it to love. But then you apply that and you show respect and you show appreciation. And guess what? It just opens the flow. It allows more to come in because you're treating it, and love brings about all the very best emotions possible when it comes from a place where it's genuine, when it comes from a place to where it's really pure and divine. You can't help but to prosper at that point, because here's the truth of the matter. There's no forcing. There's no attachment. There's no pulling. There's no pushing. There's no anything that feels like control, right? It's the moment we let go of control, we receive all of it, We receive everything that we want the moment we let go of controlling things on a level that we're trying to get to help us to live better lives. So think about that. Think about that in relation to where you are from a financial standpoint. What are you attempting to control? What are you maybe forcing when you should be in a state of just presence, in a state of just being, and maybe just even let go, right? One of the main issues I've had is being in a moment where I feel like it has to be different. It has to be different. It has to be different. No. The truth about love just is, right? And whatever just is, allow it to be, and you get all the peace, all the joy, all the happiness, all the calmness, because guess what? You're not in a state of control. You're not in an attempt to change something away from what it actually is. You just accept it, right? You just accept it. Do that with your money. Accept it. Appreciate it. Be at peace. Be calm about where you are with it, from the highest amount to the penny you found yesterday on the ground. Accept it and appreciate it and be calm and know that this is what is supposed to be, so this is what is, and I'm going to accept that completely, but at the same time, continually open myself to more. And once you do that, all of a sudden, your channel has become wide open and you're able to be open to manifest more money, but do it in a more relaxed way. I'll tell you this will be the last thing. Anytime you feel like you're forcing, anytime you feel like you're reaching, anytime you feel like you're attached, anytime you feel like the whole idea of I have to make something happen around money, take a step back. Okay? Take a step back, and all you have to say is, I choose to get into a state of love. Right? I choose to get into a state of love and put that love around money, and just watch how different everything moves from that point, from the state of coming from a place of action. It's going to be totally different, because when you're forcing, when you're controlling, when you're moving, when you're ambitious and you got to make stuff happen, you often don't move with the flow, right? But when we take a step back and we step into love, then we realign ourselves with the flow. And when we realign ourselves with the flow, guess what? You just pick up stuff. You allow stuff to kind of come into your existence easily and effortlessly when you're in the flow. So stay in the flow and you'll be able to relax into abundance. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure. Have a wonderful day. As always, we will talk soon. Take care.